Hey folks, Kayak DIY here, and I am at Surf Expo 2018 at the Bixpy booth. Bixpy was so kind enough to actually help get me into here, and we're going to take a look at some of their products. So I've done Bixpy videos in the past. I actually had been following them right from the start. Some of the products that I have right now is I have their Swim Jet, which is this little handheld boosted swim device. We'll get into that a little bit later here. And I have an actual setup for a paddleboard mount and a couple other things that you'll be seeing in some future videos. But I want to show you kind of a sneak peek at a coming product, a product that's coming to the market here pretty soon from them. And I think it's going to be a hit with a lot of my viewers, because a lot of my viewers are into kayak fishing, and they have almost usually like the perfect setups to be able to utilize this new mount setup. So this here is their universal rudder mount. So it's a drop-in pin design. You're going to be able to get the motor mount and the rudder all together in one. It will come with the battery, the motor, the rudder, and basic setup to be able to make your connections. In terms of how to be able to go about steering it, that's going to be probably a question that a lot of you guys are going to have. So right here with the universal rudder mount, you have these steering lines. These steering lines on this particular kayak connect up really easily to the foot pedals, so you have foot steering. Why is that really great? Well, your hands are free to fish. And also, if you don't have foot pegs, for one, you can get foot pegs like third party. You can actually, a lot of companies sell them. You can actually add them into your kayaks if you don't have them. But Bixpy actually ended up coming up with a handheld rudder setup that you can buy with this kit. It's going to be an optional accessory, but it gives you almost like, if you guys are familiar with the Hobie kayaks, they have a handheld rudder. It's going to be kind of like that. And here's that. So right here, you could track mount this right to your side gunnel, and it will have, the lines will run through these poly tubes here, and they'll go all the way to the back here of the kayak. So now you have a handheld rudder setup. I might actually utilize that with one of my kayaks here in the future. I kind of like that. Let's talk a little bit about the battery life. I'm trying to get a good idea of what the battery life is for these units. It kind of depends on the hull design of the kayak. I'll have a splice here where you guys will be able to see a chart with the miles per hour and the battery life ratings. But it really comes down to the hull of the kayak. But what I've noticed with my Viking ProFish Reload is it covers me for an afternoon at least out on the water. The battery though has some really unique features that I like. For one, if the kayak flips over, this goes overboard in the water, don't worry about it, it floats. I've tested it. Also, let's say you fall overboard. If you fall overboard, there's a magnetic switch that actually attaches to here. So to turn this battery on, there is a little magnetic lanyard, and that will be clipped onto you. If you fall overboard, it turns off the battery, no problem. The other thing that kayak anglers are really gonna like is the fact that you can utilize this battery for your other electronics. So like right here, we have a Garmin. It's a fish finder here, and we have their auxiliary cable. I can actually plug this auxiliary cable right into the battery, and I could power this thing on. If we look at the battery right here, there's a middle port. That middle port is your auxiliary port. And then this port right here is for your charging, and this one's for the motor. So you got 3 ports. This is an input, this is an output, this is an output. So you don't have to carry another bulky battery or anything on your kayak in order to run your fish finder. So that's something that I am gonna start using. I think I'm gonna probably be getting the auxiliary cable so I can end up running my fish finders on some of my fishing kayaks from the Bixpy battery. It's just less hassle, it's a cleaner install, and that's what a lot of people are going for. Also, if you have a kayak that doesn't have a good way to mount the rudder, let's say you don't have a good solid mounting system to be able to drop this rudder into. This rudder is just basically a pin setup, so it drops right in. They actually made a really cool bracket that is well made, and it's going to allow you to basically create a very rigid mount for the Bixpy to attach to. So how it's going to work is it's basically going to drop onto the back end of the kayak, and you can run screws into here, and they'll run right into the side, and it will give you a solid mounting option for your rudder. So this here I'll have a link to, and I'll have a link to these products here. Let's go take a look at some of the other areas in the booth. The price on this though is going to come in at around $1,099 or so, but you guys can take a look at the pricing and all the info at the link in the description. Let's go take a look here though at some of the other stuff. So this is what I'm really excited about in terms of what I have going on right now at my house. So at my house, I've been using a lot of inflatable paddle boards. They're lightweight, they don't take up much space. I actually have one in the back of my truck right now even. And a lot of paddle boards have fin boxes. So all you need to do to attach Bixpy is you end up getting this adapter. And I'm even doing this one-handed. It just pops right in. You got this little pin here, it slides in, and now Bixpy is locked in place. You put this on your top deck, you can bungee it down, and if you don't even bungee it and it falls overboard, don't worry about it because it floats. Coming over here, this is yet another thing I really like. So I have one of these. I took it to Key West. I'll have a link to that video up in the top right-hand corner. But this here is their swim jet, and they have two different models of swim jet. They have a snorkel version and like a scuba version. The scuba version is going to have a little bit better battery life because it's a little bit bigger, but it's going to have negative buoyancy. It's going to sink, which is what you need for scuba. But for snorkel, they have an option that it slowly floats. And when I say the scuba version sinks, it sinks slowly. I've let go of it and watched it, and it's a very, very slow sinking. It feels pretty weightless in the water, and the battery life is phenomenal. I am very impressed. When I was in Key West, I ended up using it pretty much all day, and I still had 3 bars left, and I took it home and I used it in my backyard, and that to me was impressive. And that same motor is utilized on all of these devices. So what attracts me to Bixpy is the fact that it's very versatile. You end up buying a motor kit and you can buy all these different mounts and use it in different ways, so you're not limited. So right here is the wireless remote setup. The wireless remote setup can strap to your wrist or it can strap to your paddle. I think for paddle boarding, I would like it strapped to my paddle. I'm gonna have to get out of the way. This thing's gonna create some serious turbulence.
So that's speed 1.
So this is speed 1. And if he goes up any more in speed with that angle, it's going to be shooting water all over here. Even with the little swim jet, I've been amazed at the jet stream that it can shoot. So, right here he's kicking up the speeds, but he has to actually lower it further in the water right now because otherwise we're going to end up having a really wet booth. There is a lot of turbulence.
That's about 5.
Okay, that's speed 5. So when I'm at this booth, it's really hard for me not to get excited. I love this product. It's a good one. It's something that I'm genuinely interested in, and I think you guys might be as well. So if this all looks interesting to you, or if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'll answer them. You can actually also shop via our website, kayakdiy.com. I have a link right to Bixpy there as well. And yeah, this just fits everything I like in water sports. I got boosted swimming, I got paddleboarding, I got kayaking, and it doesn't get much better than that. Thanks for watching.